So one of the challenges that I have faced as a healthcare CFO is the rising costs of our supplies. So it was one of those things that, yes, we knew the supplies were going to increase, but we just didn't know why. So our initial approach was to cost management, financial resiliency. However, that only lasted for a little bit. So we had to kind of pivot a little bit more. We worked together with our clinical teams, our supply chain, and our finance teams to really just dive into what supplies were actually driving those increases. Through transparency, through our physician alignment, what we did find is there were a lot of products that weren't to our standardization of care. So we were able to move ourselves back in the correct direction to stabilize our costs without ever compromising patient care.
I actually transitioned to Intercoastal in January last year. So my biggest challenge was becoming CFO of a large medical organization, just learning the nuances, the way that Intercoastal practices the operations, while being, aware of the fact that the staff tend to have some uneasiness when there's a change in leadership. So just having that, emotional IQ and being able to provide that stability. I'm very fortunate in that we have a phenomenal leadership team. So I've been surrounded by very positive people, and our CEO and our president also super supportive. So we've been able to, make some great financial improvements, changes, and just tried to move the organization forward.
One of the biggest challenges this past year has been aligning the organization around capacity, length of stay, and how we coordinate patient care. As our volume increased, it reinforced the need for us to improve how efficiently we were managing that coordination. Early on, we realized we were trying to refine processes that weren't always aligned with how the work needed to be done. And it wasn't until we stepped back and addressed some of the underlying structural issues that we started to make meaningful progress. Data has certainly helped point us in the right direction, but we also had to spend time with frontline staff and physicians to understand where their challenges were and align our clinical and operational teams around shared priorities. Still a work in progress, but we've made meaningful improvements by getting everyone aligned and taking a more coordinated team-based approach.
When I reflect on it the most, probably around the volume of change and the pace of change that the businesses go through, and trying to maintain growth in such an, sometimes uncertain economic environment. I think it's probably been the biggest challenge. And I think, again, when I reflect on what's helped me to overcome that, I think it's having a good sense of curiosity, being interested about changes in technology, the ways that the customers are changing, but keeping people at the center of it as well. I think when you create value for the team, for the customers, you can really create something quite special. So yeah, I think that's really been the key for 2026.